listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text our little show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Frank.
We've talked the whole night through. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
We actually haven't talked the whole night through.
And you.
No, we mainly WhatsApped, didn't we?
Well, I had night nurse, so I'd have been a lousy contributor.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Imagine we had a WhatsApp group with Frank.
Imagine if we had a night nurse chat room.
I often imagine I have a night
where
nurse.
people all take night nurse and then talk into the early hours in a blurry green mist.
That's as rock and roll as your imagination.
And then we wrote it all down and we turned it into like a verse play.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it at Edinburgh and then it really took off.
That sounds brilliant.
What about that? And it was just called Night Nurse. That's
Yeah.
what we called the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Night Nurse come in. Once he got successful, they weren't bothered at the beginning, but once he got successful, Night Nurse were in saying, well, we want some money for this season. And we said, there's been Night Nurses before. Yeah, they say, you're clearly referring to that. You're even fueled by it.
Yeah.
Then we got a court case on our hands, what was just a simple idea I had between a few friends on a radio show.
Which we win, and we drink the champagne out of the little plastic cups afterwards outside, Frank.
like
Toast
shots,
our victory.
Like shot drinking out
Yeah.
of it.
Oh,
We
nice.
drink 250 millilitres of whatever it is.
Carver.
25, is it, millilitres of
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Or we could mockingly drink creme de menthe because it looks like
yeah.
it. And it also helps you sleep.
Does it?
Creme de menthe, you drink enough of it, my friend.
Yeah.
I thought it was the drink of choice for people that didn't want other people to know that they'd had alcohol because it smells of mint. So
Well, they used to say the Pope drank it. There used to be an
right.
old joke about
Well,
it.
I
right.
think it's the drink of choice for people who are desperado. That's the drink itself. But when it comes to that time of the night and there's nothing in the drinks cabinet.
Oh,
I haven't actually seen it for ages, have you? Creme de
No.
menthe.
Is it creeping into... It is.
I think it might.
is.
Creme de menthe. The old joke used to be that a bloke had a drink of it in a pub and he had a whole bottle and just blacked out and woke up covered in green sick. And he said, I wouldn't have known any more of that, it's terrible. And they said, well, it's what the Pope drinks. And he said, no wonder they carry him around in a chair. Which I always liked as
Very
a joke.
decent joke.
I liked because it had the Pope in it, but it wasn't derogatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the days. So that's
For
the
Pope jokes.
that's the Night Nurse.
A positive Pope
format.
joke.
The Night Nurse format. Again, that'd be a good title for a band.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Hang on. What?
There's been a few posters gone up round my in my area.
Posters. How about the 70s?
Posters. You know these handmade posters with a picture of a dog on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what, like lost dogs?
Yeah.
All
And
right.
you tear off the little thing at the end.
No, we didn't have that. Didn't have that.
The frill.
Is that with the number
Well, it's a
on?
bit serrated. It's a bit sort of
to have-
Flintstones outfit,
It is,
isn't
yeah.
it?
No, it didn't have that. It had. It's got. I'll tell you what it's got. It's got two pictures of the dog. One sort of left-hand profile and one right-hand
Right.
profile, as if you'd see it from one side and think, "Oh, I'm not sure that's it."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they've got that. They don't have its name.
Oh.
Is that a good idea?
Well,
If I see it, what am I going to do?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're looking somewhat searchingly to me as the dog correspondent,
You are the
London's
dog-
leading dog correspondent. I mean, I know people are funny about names because they don't want them to steal the dog. That's why they sometimes... But if you need the dog back...
How do I know it's that dog?
Well, exactly.
If I go Shirley,
Right.
and it turns, I'll think that's it's a female.
What sort of dog
See
is
that
it?
political correctness? I thought, can you actually say the B word if you refer to a female dog? And I bottled
I
it.
think you can. I think you
I
can.
bottled it, as we say in the night nurse chat group.
What sort of a dog is it? Is it a mixed breed?
I tell you what, it
crossbreed?
looks a bit like a husky.
Oh, yes, they're
Right.
very popular.
Yeah, I could shout mush.
Since since Game of Thrones.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, this is the
Yeah.
thing.
That
But
makes
here's
sense.
the thing. Now, so me and my child passed 3 posters with this dog on every morning,
You still
saying
don't know the
missing.
name.
And there's 2 phone numbers at the bottom. And Buzz said to me, why is there 2 phone numbers? Is it like a lady's phone number and a man's phone number? As if they were like different in some way. That got me very confused. I had to explain to him they are the same thing.
Yeah.
There isn't a special lady's phone number. At least not that I know of. Maybe on the dark net.
Oh, he thinks it's like the bathrooms, yeah.
Are you sure he doesn't think that it's a couple that have lost the dog? Is that what he was
I
implying?
suppose it's a family. No, I think he just wondered why there was 2 phone numbers.
Oh, okay.
Well, I
It's
wonder
reasonable.
why.
It's a reasonable
Yeah.
thing. What's the
Yeah.
idea?
Yeah.
I try
What's the
one.
big idea?
What do I do if I see the dog? I phone one of these numbers, which I don't have on a bit of paper. I have to memorise 2 numbers. And then if I see the dog, I phone them. By the time they get there, it's gone. And they say, why didn't you call it? I said, well, what's its name? And they say, it's called Missing. I thought,
Oh, no.
I got completely confused. Totally confused.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, so the other thing with this missing dog thing
Oh, yeah.
is I'm keeping an eye out for a runaway husky.
Yeah.
Aren't we all, dear?
And it might. How do I know what they don't do? These missing dog people, when they put their thing, I've never seen one that says found.
Oh, right.
Yes.
So you can relax now.
So it's just a
Stop
constant
looking.
loose end in your mind.
You know where you get like a sold sign outside a house.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
think, oh no, I can forget about that house.
Bit of closure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah.
It's done. It's no longer on my mind.
Uh-huh.
No, I might be looking for that dog for another 2 or 3 weeks. For all I know, even now, that dog might be lying in
Yes.
front of the fire.
Yeah.
They're
home.
not very denouement friendly, these people.
No,
Right.
yeah, I need closure on the husky.
Well, I'd like them to at least to put the name, though. I don't feel like that's useful information for them to withhold.
What do
Well,
I do?
look,
Here's my
look.
question. What do I do if I see?
Yeah, you have to shout. Well, do they put
Oh,
the
don't
gender of the
approach
dog?
them
It
as
is
well.
a female.
It is a female.
So you can shout "Here, girl" at least.
Oh yeah.
Girl.
I don't think I'd shout that in the current climate.
Really? Oh.
If I shout "Ooh baby,"
Yeah, that's fine. That is
Ooh,
definitely
baby.
fine.
You two on the pool.
Actually,
Here,
I've
girl.
got- I've
Oh,
got-
baby.
I've got some.
dear.
I've got some options on that front actually.
What,
On the
some-
on the dog calling front.
Really?
Oh, have you? What have you got?
Because
I thought I meant on you, baby front.
somebody bought me a book for Christmas called Mouth Sounds.
Really?
And it's all the different sounds you can make with your mouth, surprisingly, considering the title.
That's quite a good present for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked it. 'Cause, you know, I'm a big fan of whistling.
And mouth sounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you when I was woken up by a strange whistling sound? I lay in bed thinking, what is that? Because I live there's this pond not far from me with quite, the various wildlife that
Right.
you get hanging around ponds.
Mm-hmm.
And I could hear this. And I thought, what is that? And I was really anxious, and I realised it was my own nose.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was freaked me out.
You've made Emily spit a bit of her tea out there.
Oh,
which is,
yeah. But to be
mission
frightened,
accomplished for today, isn't it? That's-
have we reached the stage of anxiety in the 21st century where a man can be frightened by his own nose?
I think you might have, yeah.
That's a horrible moment in your life.
It's remarkable. This is,
Better
is it-
yours than another. I've had the same problem, but with my wife's nose, so it's not.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's
what do you
different
do?
now.
Do you rouse her?
Well, I just.
Not much nowadays.
Yeah.
Long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, but they love it. They love a takeaway
Oh, I'm having
on a
such a
Friday
morning.
night. Well, I was in my my where I work is on the top floor of my house. So
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
There's a balcony,
Nice.
and
Do you mean balcony?
yeah, I do.
Is that what he means, Al?
I think it is.
Thanks
yeah.
for being here.
And I was sitting. I was sitting on the sofa with a notebook writing some stuff, jokes,
Suzanne Vega song.
ideas, and whatever it was. And I had my sort of legs crossed, and there's my balcony adjoins the balcony of the house next door, but there's a
right.
wall. I mean, there's
Right.
a wall
It's
between us. We
a
don't share.
balconette.
We don't share.
Yeah.
But then I became, at the corner of my eye, became aware of someone sort of either on my balcony or on their wall next to I could see them out the corner of my eye, and I had that moment, when your stomach goes, whoa.
Oh, really?
Oh.
And I had that moment of dread, and then I realised it was my own foot.
Oh.
So that's two instances, one this week and one a while back, where I've been frightened by my own body.
Do you think maybe
Is that what happens when you get older?
Do you think maybe some mindfulness or something would be good for you?
Well, they do. I think what I need is some diagrams of what's where. But when they warn you about getting old, no one ever tells you that you become frightened of your own body.
No, that is news to me.
Parts/sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All three of them I'm frightened of now.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, some of our readers have been in touch.
Oh, yeah.
And they were somewhat alarmed by Room 101 was back last night. Great one, can I just say?
Thanks
Loved
very
it.
much.
And MK Night.
MK Dons? MK Night?
MK Dons was alarmed by the sight of your feet. She says, I was also frightened by Frank on the radio's foot last night. We should say you wore a croc and you had a special croc sock, didn't you?
Oh, dear.
Yes. Well, Crocs and socks is a fashion that's heavily condemned.
Mm.
But I had the idea that if you had a sock which followed the contours and holes of the croc, you could wear it secretly.
Sort of fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I might have to retweet it if you don't
It's one of the
object.
good ideas that you had on the couch on your on top floor in the office, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
On the
I like
balcony.
it that it's
When me and my feet were still friends.
I like the idea that you're always on the couch, because I associate you with the couch because of David Baddiel.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I tend not to write at the desk much.
Oh, really?
I
Do you not?
tend to be on. Well, if you're
Strolling
going to
about.
call something a laptop, for example,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
why am I going to put it on a desk?
Good point.
But also I write freehand quite a lot.
Oh, you're such a
Pencil.
free spirit. I love that about you.
Yeah, pencil, biro. Bring
Well-
them. Bring it on.
I find the joy of the pencil is that you can write whilst lying on the couch, whereas the biro, there's a finite amount of doing that, and then
Well,
it
what
runs
about
out,
the heart?
doesn't it?
What about the heartbeat of a paper, mate?
The what?
There's
I love
pump.
that.
Doesn't it have a small pump on a paper, mate, that keeps the stuff going through to the tip? Isn't that why there's a heart on it?
Oh, I did
That's
not
their
know
symbol.
this.
Well, I don't know. I use a Swarovski Crystal Special Edition
Bless you.
Spectre pen.
What worries me is that someone is going to send in a email or text saying that the Americans spent millions of dollars trying to develop a pen that writes
Oh,
upside
right,
down
yeah.
for space, and then the Russians used a pencil,
Yeah,
which is a story that everyone knows, but everyone who knows it thinks that no one else knows it.
yeah.
I
You
refer
hate those
again.
Gary
stories,
Oldman?
don't you?
Gary
You hate
Oldman,
those
the
stories.
classic.
Oldman.
We're calling it a big mo. It's what it
A
is.
big moment.
Because Gary
That's what we call
Gary Oldman's sister is, yes, we know, Big Mo from EastEnders. Gary Oldman, of course, is having a lot of publicity at the moment
He is.
for
Yeah.
playing Churchill.
He's done well
Yeah.
for himself.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
And
It's a big campaign, isn't it?
it is, yeah, a lot of
4
adverts
hours in
for it.
makeup to get dressed as that dog for the back window.
But he's 59 now, Gary Oldman,
Is he?
which it made me think, give it 2 or 3 years,
Hmm.
and he'll have grown into some nominative determinism.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
He'd be a nice friend for you. I think you should cultivate
Gary
him.
Oldman.
Yeah.
We're just of similar age. Both came from the wrong side of the tracks. You made done well for yourself.
Did you come from the wrong side of the tracks? Did Gary Oldman as well?
Yeah.
Did he? Did not know that.
That's no wrong side. That's
Well,
an unfair
I
thing
think
to
you're
say.
judging by Big Mo, aren't you? That he
Oh,
came from
maybe.
the wrong side of the tracks. He came from the wrong side of the seesaw. He couldn't get off when he was a kid.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
On the Croc socks front,
Yeah.
I saw a lady this week. I was on the bus and I saw a lady going past.
Keeping it real. Love that, Frank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Well, I've got the bus pass. I might as well.
Free,
Yeah.
innit? Two words.
Tell me bits. And she had ripped jeans on.
Oh,
Yep.
you hate that, don't you?
No, I know. I'm not going to go on about
Increasingly
ripped
you
jeans.
hate
I'm
that.
not going to go on about it again.
In which area? At the knee?
These was
North London.
mainly at the knee. Yeah. And my problem with them is it's like someone going to a fancy dress party as a poor person. That's what I don't like about it.
Okay.
Oh,
Do you wear?
No, do you know why?
No.
Because I
Rich.
think I've left those days behind.
Okay.
oh, right, yeah.
I think it's a little undignified.
I just wonder
Might come
about.
back though.
I just wonder
for you.
about tan lines with them.
Oh, yeah.
Do you just get like your knees? Just got
I mean, back
orange
in the day,
knees?
I was Christina Aguilera virtually.
Were you
Well,
dirty?
I'm immaculate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did. I was a big fan, but now I just think it's a bit Europop.
See,
Right.
this
I had the
woman.
same thing in my late 30s with baseball caps.
Did you?
I don't think I can do this at my age anymore. Flat caps now.
No.
If
No, I've
anything.
never.
And they've been reclaimed by Donald Trump. You see, the
I don't think
baseball
any.
cap.
I don't,
Oh,
at least
actually,
he's
I'm back in
American now. I don't mind anyone who's American
back
wearing a
in.
baseball trap,
Yeah.
baseball cap. But oh no, not a British person in a baseball cap. Come on.
I will make the exception if anybody wants to send me a "Make America Great Again"
Of course you
cap.
do.
I
Well,
would
that's
happily do
Actually,
that.
let me stop this conversation
Oh, sorry.
now because we had a delivery today.
Oh yes, yes, we
I'll-
did.
I'll-
Frank.
I'll-
Churchill dog. Talking of Churchill.
I'll come back to the woman I saw from the bus, but let's just hear this.
We received. You remember last week I was discussing how it's a much mocked present to get a man of a certain age some socks, but I think it's a genuinely good gift, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate socks. And I got some for
Yes.
Christmas. And then Frank was like, "Oh, bamboo socks, ridiculous."
No, you brought up. I'd never heard of them, and you said the best socks I've ever had in all my life
That's right, I did.
are bamboo.
And I did say.
And I thought,
Alf
come on.
Roberts.
And it sounded like a call out to bamboo to send in free.
It wasn't.
socks.
It was
So
just.
didn't want to be party to.
You know, every now and again I say something on this show that lights up the switchboard, and that was one of them. Like, I like bamboo socks as well. I mean, it's mostly when I make mistakes and people correct them. But yeah. And then we've been sent some, and
So I said, don't send us any.
You did.
Yeah.
I can afford socks.
As
You
you
can-
want.
And I said, you can stick your socks.
yeah.
And Alan
I mean,
said,
you do cherry pick
Alan
what
said,
you will accept for free.
Oh, no. So anyway, so then.
So Bamboo Clothing have sent us some socks today, and with a lovely letter written on the sticky
"Well, you
back
say
return
lovely. It's
thing.
quite scruffy."
It is quite scruffy. Dear Alan and Emily, it says.
Ooh, I'm calling that passive aggressive love.
We love listening to Absolute Radio. Normally we delete praise, but we'll keep it in.
Yeah.
Well, that's Absolute Radio as well,
Well-
so we're sharing it amongst our colleagues.
It
Exactly.
it then says, we thought you would like these, none for Frank though, love Bam, and have drawn a little smiley face.
Mic drop.
Oh yeah, they have absolutely
Yeah.
dropped that mic on you.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I respect their
Integrity.
yeah.
And to be fair to Frank, he stood back and said, "No, I'm not having any. I've offered him about 50 times have a pair of socks."
The rest of the team are in there.
Oh, it's turned out to be a bonanza for
Yeah,
me.
so it's been good. They've been. I'd say everyone's ended up with a pair of socks apart from me, and that's what they wanted, and that's fine. Okay, I got socks. I got
Thanks,
my
Bam.
Croc socks. Right down. And what I'm thinking now, what I want to get for my foot is a full face balaclava.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've I don't know if we can call this a correctione, but we were talking about the pencil and the Americans were trying to come up with
that story.
that story. We've had a bit of information sent in from texter 866. Dear all, the reason America spent millions developing a pen for space is because the graphite in pencils at the time could adversely affect the delicate equipment used in the Apollo missions if they were to break or splinter. Russia adopted these pens 11 years later. Good info.
Love it.
So the Russians just work with a pencil, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder if they had the troll on the end.
Maybe.
Yeah. I should think troll hair, if that nylon troll hair got in the equipment.
Oh, you wouldn't want that. Wouldn't want that in your
A lot of
dashboard.
people favour that hair now.
Yeah. Well, have a walk down Camden. That's another.
They love
Reminded
a
me of
pink
something,
nylon hair.
something else I saw this week I must tell you about. But carry on, you're allowed to speak, Emily.
I was. Lisa has got in touch regarding your relationship with bamboo, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
She says, I have a bamboo dressing gown.
Really?
And it's truly quite harsh on the
Samurai
skin.
warrior.
You know what I worry about this, Lisa, is the belt. I mean, Frank's already talked once about how falling asleep in a dressing gown can be quite painful with the belt digging. Imagine the bamboo belt.
I had to see a dressing gown without a belt, though. And Kath,
Well,
my
so do
partner,
I, depending on who's wearing it.
she has a habit of wearing a belt from a different dressing gown with the dressing gown, and that
I don't mind that.
that goes through me like a knife through hot
Yes,
butter.
I know that look.
Not hot butter, hot knife through. You know
No.
what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes the dressing gown belt is slightly more frayed than the dressing gown.
And
Do you
often
see?
multiple twisted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's like one of those cheese twirls.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay, let's get back to Lisa. I have
Don't
a
want
bamboo.
to talk about dressing gown belts for the next 3 hours.
Well, we are talking about dressing gowns,
Okay.
but a subject that's dear to your heart, which is a bamboo.
Oh, yes.
I have a bamboo dressing gown, and it truly is, wait for it, a gift from the gods.
Whoa.
Oh, goodness.
Frank, get on the bamboo bandwagon.
I think I've burnt my bamboo. They make dressing gowns as well now.
Yeah, they're all over it.
I mean, they make everything.
I've never heard
A
of them.
bamboo car.
I hadn't heard of them till last week.
Bamboo.
Can you see them?
Yeah, the bamboo people.
The bamboos. Bamboo Radley.
Yeah.
They do scaffolding on buildings with
If
it in certain
To
parts
Kill
of
a
Asia.
Mockingbird had been set in Malaysia,
Oh, yeah.
he'd have been called Bamboo Radley. And it would have probably been to kill a hummingbird or something like that. I don't know. What did you say was the most common bird in Malaysia? 8, 12, 15.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We don't normally do music requests on the show, but we've had a text from 826. Morning, Frank and the gang. Can you please play House of Bamboo by Andy Williams?
I've never heard of that, but I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
You know that book I was telling you about, the mouth sounds?
Oh, yeah.
For years, whenever I've done an elephant, I've done like that.
Yeah.
And they suggest in there that you put your lips together and go through the lips rather than through the back of the mouth. So it goes. Hold it. Bear with me. I think it's a lot better.
I'm starting to think your book on mouth sounds is made up, Frank.
No, honestly. I've been trying table tennis on Kath. And just to test,
I'm so envious of her.
just to test she's paying
What a
attention,
life.
she had to tell me the score after
Right, that's good.
after about 10 minutes.
That is good.
It's a fascinating book. I shall try a few. I'm working on Ocean Liner Blast for
How does
next
that?
week.
Oh, give
yeah.
us a burst.
Oh, yeah. It's getting there.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
do you
need to
know?
work, but
I
it's
can
getting
smell it when you do that.
Yeah.
You know that smell when you're in the harbour.
Yeah, well, wait till I do it with my mouth. Anyway, so I saw this woman, and I'm anti-ripped jeans.
On the bus.
I don't mind a laddered tights.
We're back
Oh,
on
I
the
bet
bus.
you don't.
I like laddered tights. Come on, it's a bit of a peek behind the scenes. But anyway, I saw this woman with the ripped jeans,
Stay away from my scenes.
and
Yeah.
she had
Hashtag scenes.
Absolute scenes.
Yeah, absolute
As George
scenes.
Lineker often tweets. Sorry, Frank, as you were.
so she had ripped jeans on, but she had black tights on underneath the ripped
Oh, yeah.
jeans.
Oh.
I know that, Frank.
A lot of
No, is
nodding
this
from the females in the studio. Very
Is this a
vigorous
new
nodding.
look?
Yeah, very
Look,
much a look.
Quite a denier they were. They were thick.
Were they?
black.
60 to 80?
Oh, they were thick
She was
black
about
tights.
25, I think.
They could have been. I'll go this far. They're a bit young for me. They could have been.
You know his demographic's gone up. He's always saying that.
They
Sorry, 60 to 80, you're right.
they could have been a legging. They were so thick.
Wow.
And I
Really?
thought that was. Surely the whole point of the ripped jeans is the sort of
No,
flesh.
it's not all for
through
you,
there.
love.
I thought it looked
It's a
terrible.
statement.
It looked
Thought it looked
I'll tell you
terrible.
what it reminded me of. You know when they have chimps in clothes? And every gap in the outfit, you're sort of confronted with chimp, with that sort of black chimp fur. It looked like that. Like often the t-shirts on them ride up a bit, and you get a bit of chimp belly in between t-shirt and jeans.
Oh dear.
Oh, I tell you, he was on to it, Darwin.
Yeah.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 81215. We like it when you do. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Be modern. Or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. It's free. There's the various recommendations for your choices.
Yeah. Frank, I'd like to talk about Markle this morning.
Markle.
Are you familiar with their work?
Angela Merkel.
No. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Oh, Meghan Markle.
What, and how's it?
Their portmanteau word. Well, if you can better it, game on.
What did you go for?
I've gone Markle.
Markle?
No,
That's just her
Harkle.
surname.
Harkle.
I was going to say,
Harkle, I meant.
Really throwing me.
I thought you were just doing like a posh school thing of using her surname.
No. Harkle. I do apologise.
Harkle.
I'd like to apologise to everyone that has ever known me.
Wouldn't the
That
more
seems
obvious one be Marry?
Yes.
Mary's good.
But will Marry still work when they've been married? Well, they're divorced.
Oh, good point.
That's going to be a slap in the face.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that'd be awful.
So Harkle.
What's his
Harkle.
surname? Is it Windsor?
Yeah, he's Windsor.
Oh, is it?
They get to choose, don't they? They've got so many to choose from.
I thought his surname was Harry and his first name was Prince, so I've got it all wrong. I'm only kidding. You're both looking at me like, really?
Well,
No,
don't be too embarrassed. I just said Markle repeatedly.
I mean,
Like a cray-cray.
that missing husky could be called Prince.
Could
Used to be
be.
a common name for the pointy-eared big dog.
That's
Especially in the
truth,
70s.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky was a big hitter as well. They went to Represent Radio in Brixton.
They went to represent radio.
Yeah,
like
represent,
it's
with a
represent
Z.
With a Z,
with
yeah,
a
yeah.
Z.
ZZ. And
Doesn't even say in brackets sick.
yeah. And one of the DJs there.
Doesn't it?
No.
Doesn't it mean good?
Well, it can mean good. I think that's with a K though. But
Producer's nodding.
Yeah.
Yeah, word
See,
up.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
One of the
Anyway,
DJs
I use
there
public transport.
Yeah.
I hear stuff.
he was called Giovanni Letford. He was a little bit cheeky. He went a little bit cheeky.
He was a cheeky scamp, I think.
He went a little bit leave it. He offered his services to them as a DJ. He slipped the old business card
Yeah.
for the wedding. And he said, I say, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
I bet he said ask.
Do you think?
He said, if you don't ask, I say, if you don't ask, then you keep your dignity, is what I say.
He said something that was quite profound, though.
Oh.
Like, if you don't ask, the answer's always no.
Yeah, that was good.
That's
that.
good. I like that.
Yeah.
Good.
And that's the sort of thing that you could put on, like, a calendar on a day and feel like
Well,
that's
maybe
your
not in
little...
the current climate.
No, you're right.
Can I just say,
You're
Giovanni, the answer's always no, thank you. Anyway, what did
He was
you
a
make of
scamp.
this?
He was an absolute scamp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've started a Brazilian manufacturing company, and I'm thinking I might chuck a business card at the Queen next time she
Oh,
goes.
yeah, because they
sacked.
jettisoned the royal
Yeah, she's got
underwear.
rid of Rigby and Pella. She took away their royal charter.
They did.
Well, this is the problem because they spoke out, and I think Giovanni might have blown his chances.
I think
of becoming a wedding DJ for the...
Well, you can't. They don't like it if you speak out.
I think
It's all right if they do.
I
True.
think
You
his
can't.
was the right sort of lovable cheekiness
Yeah.
that might get through, whereas Storming a D Cup, which was the book,
Was it?
it was called it.
Right,
The
doesn't
book
sound that
caused-
classy, you're right.
The book that caused the trouble.
No.
That was, she gone too far.
One
I
does
think,
not like that.
I think Rigby
Yeah.
and Pella, they could go bust.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Frank.
Very good. Very good.
I'll tell you something, if there was any Japanese people watching that clip, they would have been outraged.
Oh, really?
Because when you
Why?
go to Japan and you meet anyone in any kind of formal way, you exchange business cards, and then you have to hold them with your finger and thumb on each side of the business card, and you have to sit and read it in detail.
And then you bow.
If you don't do that, it's really very bad manners. I mean, the ones I was given were often in Japanese, and I still stared at them for ages, as if there was some part of me that thought, if you look at Japanese long enough, you will work it out.
Right. And did you
I had to have some printed, because to turn up without business cards. Oh, yeah.
What did you say? Just Frank Skinner?
Frank Skinner, and then an email address.
Oh. Did it have a job on it?
And they'd sit and read that for 25 minutes.
Frank Skinner at Waitrose.com.
Yeah. So if they saw that,
that's not his email, by the way.
They've probably written off the royal family now. He was so rude to take that and just stick it in his pocket.
Kristen Walsall has just pointed out, morning guys, in the army, Harry was actually known as Captain Wales.
Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Lovely. That's like you being Frank Birmingham.
Captain Wales. It's a bit like being Miss Bahamas.
Kind of.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank Bamblemash has been in touch.
Who?
Oh, yeah. Does he still present University Challenge?
Hang on. After you repeatedly say Markle and thinking you were saying Harkle,
oh, wasn't that
have you got
awful?
Bamblemash
I'm really
right?
embarrassed about that. And I was so convinced that I was right. No, this is definitely Bamblemash. I don't want you to be doubting Thomas's from now on.
Probably reading Tumbleweed or...
Okay, Bamblemash. It is definitely Bamblemash. He/she... the avatar is someone eating an ice cream.
Right.
Dear Frank et al., why are we called readers and not listeners? Praise omitted.
Yeah, I think that was a slip of the tongue I had.
See, even Frank does it.
A long time ago.
Even Homernods.
And I think because I feel that we have very smart and interesting listeners, judging by the texts and emails we get and tweets. Mm-hmm. It sort of felt right that they were readers rather than listeners. So I stuck with it. I think also I was explaining something that was that had been running for a while, and I said new readers start here, which is a sort of thing I have in that. So it was all those together. But I now do. People come up to me and say I'm one of your readers. So.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Especially at church. And I say, OK, we're doing Luke's Gospel. You're on third. Yeah, so that's that. Well, but you're quite right to ask, we haven't mentioned it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Giovanni Letford, the royal DJ in waiting. The cheeky
can I just say, cheeky scamp, I think, it's a nice phrase, and it's sort of cheerful and there's a bit of chutzpah to it. And then you read that he's 28, and you think, actually, he's a bit old
and
to
a qualified lawyer.
Oh, is he?
He's a lawyer.
So he's not really a cheeky scamp.
Not quite so cheeky scamp now, is he?
Yeah, I mean, Ron Paul of the Bailey was never called a cheeky scamp in any of the episodes.
It's not. They've given him this sort of artful dodger.
But he's got that. I think he might get some sort of role at the royal wedding.
Well, I think he's modelled this whole thing on listening to you hint/beg for a role on Doctor Who in the public forum.
It paid off, Al.
Paid off.
Yeah, I saw myself with the Doctor Who thing. Do you ever see those films like On the Waterfront where blokes with black woolen hats and black coats would stand outside the docks?
Yeah.
And someone would go, you, and they worked that day. It was like that.
Yeah.
So that's what Giovanni's up to, I reckon.
Might work.
He had some song choice ideas for the royal wedding. Well, he said he was going to...
He hasn't hung around, has he?
No.
He's already got a set list.
He's got his set
Probably
list.
on Spotify.
He was going to have Luther Vandross, The Closer I Get to You. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No.
It's a bit sort of... in an 80s mini-series, it's a bit that, I think.
If I'd been Luther Vandross, I would have changed my name. You don't want to put the concept of Dross into people's minds.
Is he still with us, Luther Vandross?
And he's not a Van Gap Dross. Is he like a Dutch?
No.
He's Vandross.
No. Yeah.
I think he pulled a ripcord. I can't remember.
I remember...
he spent a lot of his money on cake. I remember
Ozzy Osbourne told me that he had bought one of those big Hummer sort of armour-plated thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he drove it to his record company or something in America, and Luther Vandross's car was outside. And Ozzy just ploughed straight into it. So, yeah. Do you think he was named after Martin Luther? Is he
Who, Luther Vandross or Ozzy Osbourne?
No, well, how could he be?
Martin Luther's middle name was Ozzy Osbourne. You don't know that?
Middle name was Ozzy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he was.
He says he's also going to play. He thought he might play some Stormzy because he said Prince Harry loves his grime.
Yeah.
Now, can I suggest you don't do that? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to see Sloane's with the friendship bracelets in the air.
Oh no! I mean, that's going to be. He does not love his grime.
Yeah,
I don't want to see
He
Prince
he
Harry.
just doesn't
Talk to
love
my
that.
face, don't talk to my palm.
Captain Wales.
Yeah,
It's like a.
I'm not sure he does love his crime.
Captain Wales.
Maybe he'll take her name and be Captain America.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, 'cause she's.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's.
That's lovely.
When I at my wedding, I I had a wedding
What?
once. Yeah. We had 2 DJs. I pushed the boat out.
Did you?
Yeah, 2 big lads. They were from the West Midlands. It was all in the West Midlands, and they wore baseball caps.
Right.
And I know I'd condemn baseball caps, but I make an exception for these because they had hands on top, and when you pulled strings at the side, they clapped.
Oh, excellent.
I would love to see Harry and Meghan with those 2 guys.
That would be good.
Oh, man. And I went to one once in Birmingham, and the DJ was one of those DJs that used to ask questions
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
on the songs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So he'd say, one of them was, which will live with me forever. Oh, let me get this right. It was what time of the week? What time of the week is it? And what time of the week is it? And how's the visibility? So he says, what time of the week is it? And how's the visibility? Then puts up Friday night and the lights are low. Master stroke.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've been talking about the cheeky scamp / 28-year-old lawyer who's
If he's a 28-year-old lawyer, how come he's working at Represent?
I think it might be a community thing.
That's
he might
his,
just like DJing.
that's his side hustle.
Yeah.
Got to have a side hustle.
We've all got a side hustle. I've got one. I rent motorhomes.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got 7.
I'm looking for a caravanette.
Oh, none of those. But if you were to upscale your desires, then I'm the man to speak to. You know that? You didn't know that about me,
No.
you guys?
No.
It's just
But,
a side hustle.
Every day is a school day.
Just a side
Yeah.
hustle. Anyway, the
I have a
It's-
slight. I didn't see much of the visit, but I have a slight. I suppose Meghan has made them a bit more street now. Actually, a bit more cool.
because she's an actress in America.
Because the royals
yeah.
visiting Represent Radio in Brixton
Yeah.
feels a bit. Oh, I mean, even the royal children all seem to be about 53.
Yeah.
Even when you see pictures from them, they look like middle-aged people.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this is going to be the big change.
It'll be a big change, yeah.
I mean, as you said before about the royal family, it is easy to forget just how posh they are.
Yeah,
They're really
Yeah.
posh.
yeah, they are. That's still respect. Or do we not have respect? I can't remember what's fashionable.
Do you think if they played Dancing Queen, the Queen would dance? Or do you think she's...
The Queen don't dance.
Because that would be the first thing. You'd put Dancing Queen on and
that
then
would
just
be
all
great.
eyeball
Just,
her.
can you? How much would you give to have on your phone a video of the Queen dancing to Dancing Queen?
Oh, Frank,
I
that would
think
go so viral.
Every phone in the room would be out if she got up to
Yeah.
dance to that.
To anything.
I know,
Well,
but Dancing
Giovanni,
Queen.
Frank, said he was going to do a remix to the national anthem.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to do that.
That's
that a rule?
disrespectful.
No,
Come on.
She wouldn't like that.
What I like to think...
He said it's the one where you'd get everybody standing up, was what he said, which is quite good. It's a good concept.
Oh,
Surely,
yeah, he said they're standing anyway.
if there is a time to remix the national anthem, is it not during Brexit? Is this not the perfect moment to
I think it's
start?
probably a time you could remix the national anthem and suddenly there'd be a civil
dirge,
war.
innit?
I'd have... If I was Giovanni, I'd go for the Fall song, Spoiled Victorian Child.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Because that is a very... I like to think sums up the royal family in many ways. Can you imagine if that was their first dance? The child was sport Victorian.
I think
That'd be absolutely brilliant.
their first dance should be.
I'm just wild about Harry, and Harry's wild about me.
Come on!
The heavenly blisses of his kisses fills me with ecstasy.
Of course, being filled with ecstasy is a very different concept nowadays.
True.
And the come on at the beginning, is that the Duke of Edinburgh?
But the Wild About, I mean, they've got to play Wild. I'm just wild about Harry, haven't they? At some point.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that song, The Sun, the Moon and Harry?
No.
I do.
Does that spoil what you were about to say? That I don't know it.
It hasn't spoilt it because it's given me another example of something I know that you don't.
Put it on the pile.
I'll put it in my lever arch.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've had an excellent missive from Simon, the Cotswolds art dealer, who's contacted us a few times.
Has he?
Over time. Morning all, re Harry and Meghan. It occurred to me at a dinner party recently that when Miss Markle says her vows at the chapel, it will literally be as the actress said to the bishop.
Ah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Very good.
Strong work.
And Clive Silas has been in touch via Twitter to say if he's a lawyer, this is Giovanni, isn't represent quite a good place for him to
Yes.
be?
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Very good.
Great.
That is excellent.
Strong work from the readers this morning.
Yeah, they're rocking. Still, we'll catch up eventually. I don't like this pause.
No, I didn't
I
like
thought
the
you were going to
pause.
speak.
I didn't like the pause. But did you think... You see, that's the thing about weddings like that, is people tend to go quite cheesy on the music front, don't they?
I think you've got to have a bit of that at a wedding because Grandma's there. And
Well,
Grandma
now
doesn't-
Grandma's me.
But Grandma
what worries
doesn't, she
me.
doesn't want a night of grime.
No, that's
No.
true.
Not
She'd
again.
probably prefer like German techno or something, I think.
Well, I suppose, I mean, I always think of, old age pensioners talking about the war and stuff, but of course now old age pensioners talk about the day of Clark 5 because everything's moved on.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I hope they find a place for Giovanni because he seems like
Yeah.
a nice chap. I don't say that about many lawyers. And the Queen did something resembling an interview this
She
week.
did.
Discussing the perils of wearing a crown, wasn't
Yeah.
she? Like,
Yeah.
Was I not just talking the other week about, in fact, last week, about whether at the Christmas lunch she wears a real crown or everyone else has got their paper ones on?
Yeah.
Turns out now that that's pretty unlikely because she says the thing is with the crown you can't look down at all.
Oh, right.
So you'd have to eat your dinner blind.
She
You'd have to
said
feel
that.
your way around the plate.
Just
I
using your
believe
sort
she
of
said,
lower level peripheral vision.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that. Might see my own foot creeping up on me again.
I believe, Frank, what she actually said is you can't look down or your head will fall off.
She
Did
said
she?
head.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did she actually say your head will fall
Yeah,
off?
she did. I'm sure she did.
Oh,
She
Of
didn't
course,
she
there
say
is
that?
there is
Yes, the producers confirmed
There is
it.
a family tradition of that sort of thing.
beheadings.
I was unsure after Marklegate, but the producer has confirmed.
Yes.
That would be terrible if the Queen's head fell off. I can't think of a bigger news story.
No, me neither.
No, she said that when she had to read something during the coronation, and she had to lift it up to her eye level because you can't. You simply cannot look down.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Good
but
for
I
the neck
will
muscles, though.
I will miss the Queen's voice because I just mean that kind of way of speaking. It's dying out a bit, isn't it?
Yes,
These
I
younger
suppose it is.
royals, they don't sound like
You
that.
said that as if she was going to stop speaking.
Well,
I'll
that's
miss
what I
the
was
Queen's
worried
voice.
about.
Like,
Yeah.
like she's Jerry Adams.
But the
that they're gonna
Cathay News
have
film
somebody
way of
else read
speaking,
over.
I like.
It's the
Well, she
finish.
won't be with us forever, Al.
It's the finishing school thing.
Yes,
isn't it? I
exactly.
suppose the finishing. My image of finishing school for girls is that they walk around with books on their head, which is great crown practice.
It is.
Well, we used to have deportment at my
Oh,
school.
did you really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course,
We've all been there.
Tottenham's Harry Kane. Harry Kane, I think, went to finishing school.
He did, yeah.
Oh,
He's very good.
Just
lovely.
absolute star there.
Absolute
Radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So were you impressed by the Queen? Did you see the...
I'm impressed by anyone that old who can still put two words together, to be honest. It really makes me
What is she,
think.
91?
It gives me something to dream of about my advancing years. She seems completely articulate and together.
Yeah.
I think she might be a good laugh. I was saying to
Let's
Emily, I
not
think-
go over the top.
You're not having that?
See, do you hear her talking about the royal coach? She was really moaning about it. 1953 happened, still whinging about it. She said
She hasn't moved on.
No suspension was bouncing up and down. I'd have thought if the suspension's bad in the royal coach, her being a horsey type, she could have gone into a rising trot.
Yeah.
It would have looked like a fairground shooting
Great.
range as she went past. Queen appears, Queen disappears, Queen appears, Queen disappears. It might have been led to gossip, I suppose.
I suppose.
I liked her saying that with the crown. She said, fortunately, my father and I had a similar sized head. Like they couldn't have adjusted it in any way.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
That was it.
It's harder to adjust
It's not like
crown.
a snapback baseball cap or
No, it
something.
doesn't have
You
those
can have
things on.
some sort of, they
I think
have
it's-
a sateen padding
I think
inside.
it's one size fits all, I think, with the
Does
crown.
it leave hat hair? That's what I've always wondered.
Crown
'Cause
hair you get.
Do you think you get
Well,
crown
the
hair?
Queen's had it for some 70 years, that hat hair.
The nice
It's a
thing
bouffant.
is, I think the ermine probably takes the edge off the
Right.
crown hair, but it's going to be just your central hair will be fine because crown doesn't really deal with that at all.
I think I'd get on well with the Queen.
You
I
reckon?
wonder if
Yeah,
it's
I just
hot.
think she'd like me. I know
In
it's
hot-
arrogant, but I think she would.
In hot countries, do you think you can take the velvet inner cover off? Let,
Oh,
the, air,
right.
let the air get
Like a
through?
detachable hood on a ski
Yeah,
jacket.
it's
or
like a
something.
convertible. You just take the
Yeah.
velvet off.
Makes sense.
Say to one of your ladies in waiting, put that in a plastic bag. Don't lose it.
Yeah.
But I
And
think-
then you've got all the air coming through.
I think you're onto. I think with the hat hair thing, I think she has to decide at the start of the day it's either crown or no crown. Like she can't go to an event, put it on for a bit, and then take it off for a bit because then there'll be the hat hair thing.
Well, there is always,
Yeah.
of
Just
course,
commitment.
the Queen always has the halfway house available for crown and no crown, the tiara.
Oh, I love a
The
tiara.
tiara, it's a sort of travel crown.
Yeah.
You're right.
If you
so
think I
right.
can't face the full
Yeah.
Monty, get the tiara.
Like when you work with a music act and they've got one of those small guitars rather than the full shebang.
But as she
You're right.
pointed
Yeah.
out, diamonds are heavy.
Did
I
she
love
say that?
I love that Bond film. Well, I think the interviewer might have pointed it out, and she heartily agreed
Yeah.
how heavy the diamonds were.
I have the same problem with my flat cap when I'm on dog walks. It's very
Yeah.
bejewelled, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those hands, those clapping hands on top.
yeah.
Add the extra weight.
Well, they wear rings on my hat. Those hands.
I do. I like the fact that she's still. They can put her out in public. She doesn't show herself off.
Still driving.
Is she driving?
We did it last
Oh,
year.
the
She
Queen
was
Yeah, but
driving
drives a
that
Land Rover
Didn't she
with the
nearly kill
scarf,
someone?
green Jag.
wearing a Dreiserbone.
Jag, your ex-type, actually.
Didn't she go off road accidentally? Or
I
something?
think she swerved around some pedestrians.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want a lift from her. That'd be a good brag, but it'd be like sitting in the passenger seat. You know when you sit next to someone who's blowing up a really big balloon and they keep going, you're just waiting. That's what it'd be like. It's terrifying. Still does the hand signals. That's why she wears the long gloves.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Frank, I think we
Yes.
should take a little saunterette into Email Corner.
I take a little wander on a Sunday morn. Come on, everybody.
I'm going to struggle with that
Don't know
one,
that
I'm not
one.
going to lie.
Really is a treat.
I mean, we do occasionally get emails saying whatever happened to Email Corner, so I think we should sachet there, as
Okay.
indeed Emily said.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
A jingle?
do you want the jingle?
Yeah, I love it, thank you.
Dust it off.
Oh,
Thank you so much for asking, yes, I would.
don't know if I can find it. Oh,
Okay.
here we go.
I've missed that.
Lovely. Al, do you want to kick off?
Sure. Hi, Frank, Alan, and the divine Emily. I went from innkeeper to narrator in the nativity play at infant school.
No, I should say this. I was on about that my son was the narrator in the nativity
And I was
play.
too.
Yeah, it's a popular role, and I was saying that my favourite ever narrator was in Ross Meyer's Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens.
Yeah. It continues. I went from innkeeper to narrator in the nativity play at infant school. Not sure how that happened. Big step up at such a young age, but it didn't lead to any future stage work. I now build stair lifts for a living.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a natural career ladder, if you will.
No, but at least you can always pay your bills.
Yeah.
Okay, sensible, but not very glamorous advice.
I can see, though, that the thing is with the narrator, it's not going to get you more acting work because it's not really an acting role.
It's
Speak for
announcing.
yourself.
It's very front of cloth. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
You're talking direct to the audience.
Totally.
You might get some corporate work off it.
Yes, I think that's
She
right.
looks at me.
Were you the narrator?
You should think about it. No, I don't think I was a narrator.
I got demoted from shepherd to not in the play.
Oh.
At a stroke.
Why were you suddenly not in
Misbehaving?
the play? Yeah, it was naughty, Al.
I was head shepherd. I mean, I was, everything was going great for me.
When you
Leader
say
of the
head,
pack.
I mean, what did it involve other than wearing a towel on your head?
Well, it was a big deal to be head shepherd.
Head
Okay,
shepherd is
okay.
not just leader of the pack, it's leader of the leaders of the pack. Because
Yeah.
the shepherds
Lovely.
are... Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Thinking it through out
Leader
loud.
of the flock.
yeah, indeed.
At least you weren't a sheep.
That would have been a less popular song, wouldn't it? That's when I fell for the leader of the flock.
Is that in the book?
That was working on the cruise line.
Do you
Oh,
know
right.
it's improved in the last hour?
Oh, it is. I think it's as my throat gets warmer.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so so we had our rehearsal, and she said, like, in come the shepherds and kneel around the baby Jesus. So I was head shepherd. I led we were like geese,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a V formation.
Yeah.
And I saw the baby Jesus, but he hadn't been put in the manger. He was in a crisp box, those box that the crisps come in,
All right.
at the back. So I went and knelt next to that. 'Cause
Right.
that's where the baby Jesus was.
Right.
Oh, the
And of course, the
actual-
others followed me like geese.
Yeah.
And
dear.
the Miss Knight, actually, it was the headmistress, absolutely furious.
Yeah.
And she picked me up upside down, I remember. I went upside down, my headdress fell off.
Oh, no.
And as I swung round,
Quite
it's a
undignified for the
terrible moment.
leader
I
of the
swung, and
shepherds.
the way gravity took me, my hand actually touched stocking top.
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
I
And
know.
she went. And so, as a consequence, and I mean, I couldn't help it.
No.
That's what they all say.
Oh, come on. Most of them weren't being picked upside down at the time. And she said, that's it, you're not in the play at all now. So I wasn't even in it. I wasn't even like donkey dropping.
So what did you do? Did you just have to watch it from the stalls, dear?
I wasn't even allowed to go. I was just like, I just sat in the wings
What,
while
like
they
a
all...
footballer that
say
wasn't even
wings?
allowed to travel? Like
Yeah.
like somebody that had
For
missed
what?
training and you weren't allowed to travel on a
And for
cup day or
what?
something.
For a gravity-based stocking top incident, which was not my own.
Which was also caused by you being too literal. Like you thought the baby was in the crisp
I
box.
knelt
so you
next
went
to the
wrong-
baby. I thought his levels of humility had gone up a notch.
Right.
Again,
Yeah.
now he was in a crisp box. The manger was too good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a horrible experience.
Oh,
But that's nice, I think. A stair lift feels like a good work to be. You're really helping
Yeah.
people.
mm-hmm.
I think. I only know Stan.
I think his customers are moving up in the world. That's what I think.
Well, no, but they also move down in the world, don't they?
Yeah, but
They
it's
don't
not a
just
phrase.
use
Is
it.
I want one of
That's
those.
not a phrase. So it wouldn't really be a joke.
Okay, they're moving down. There must be a going down joke. Oh no, maybe not.
God.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, I'd like to move on to email 2.
I'm calling it email 2 now.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Sue me. This is Lindsay, who says, "Good morning, all. I failed to heed Frank's warning."
Hold on a minute.
Morning, Tokyo.
Come on. Let's see you singing at home. Nice to be seen. Oh, sorry, happy. Misled you. Oh, how lovely.
I think you just talked yourself out of the wedding DJ job there.
I probably did. I was right up there as well in the running. Sorry.
I know.
What time is it and what's the atmosphere like? Whatever it was.
I know.
Go on,
It
sorry.
was hardly everybody walked that dinosaur.
No.
This is from Lindsay, yeah. She says, "Good morning. Well, I failed to heed Frank's warning to take my tree down last Saturday."
Yes, I pointed out that the 6th of December is, I think, officially the last day of Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was always told if you don't take your tree down before midnight on the 6th, then ill luck will befall you.
Mm-hmm.
I've had plenty of time to do it, but spent this time staring at it, thinking I should really take that down while stroking the dogs. I like that that's an activity in its own right.
Yeah.
Eating breakfast, brushing
Oh,
my hair,
I hope this is not chronological order.
staring at the wall.
Ah.
Everything's okay. Basically doing anything but take the tree down. On Tuesday evening, I glanced at it again and thought, I bet the bad luck has kicked in now. What is wrong with me? Why is that tree still up? At exactly the same time, I heard a huge cracking noise. The 300-litre fish tank that I was sat next to in my living room burst. 250 litres made it onto the carpet and flooded the room. Today, the insurance company sent some men to look at the carpet. The tree was still up. Out of embarrassment, before they arrived, I picked up the entire tree and carried it into another room. I like her. I tripped on the way there, snapped the feet off the tree and hit my head on the wall.
Oh,
the entire tree is now in the bin. I will pay more attention to the wisdom you all dispense from now on. That praise redacted, Lindsay.
Well, there you go. That's a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
It's fair to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I really want to know what happened to the fish in all this.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, you're stroking the
Presumably they
dogs. What about the
swam to the-
fish?
Presumably the fish swam to the 50 litres that did not come out.
Yeah,
'cause-
but that would be full of shards, pointy shards.
That would be
I'm
in
so glad that's
in
what
the
you said.
carpet.
Yeah.
um,
I'd like to know if the fish, if you're listening, Lindsay,
Lindsay.
then
Mhm.
let us know how the fish got on. It's the sort of thing our readers will be concerned about.
Yeah.
Me too.
I took our tree out and I used my leather gloves, which are mostly a fashion item, but it was nice to get a practical usage out of them.
Well, I like that because it's a bit Police 5 reconstruction,
Yeah.
the old leather gloves.
It is, yeah.
And you don't
definitely.
see them often outside of that.
Yeah.
I think only really criminals wear leather gloves now.
But criminals on telly,
And me.
really?
Don't they wear them in the
I
real
don't
world?
think
Maybe
they do
maybe.
IRL.
No, you're probably right. Probably use
I've got some.
sanitizer.
Not a criminal,
Yeah.
to my knowledge.
We carried our tree. There's like a Christmas tree graveyard
Oh, I carried a watermelon.
yeah.
next to me, and we carried. You see people walking down the street carrying their trees to that place. It's
Mhm.
quite loads of them down there.
I could do with one of those now.
And in
near
the
us.
devil may care. I don't care about money. Why I live my life. We didn't even. We chucked it on the dump. We didn't even take the stand off. Just chucked it
Didn't
on
you?
the stand. I'll get another one next year. To
Good
hell
for
with
you.
it. Oh, man,
You'll probably get given it if you
I mean,
start
that's-
talking about them on the show in November. You'll get
I don't
start
want
talking about
You've
Christmas
gone
tree
like
stand.
that
Can
Paul's
stick-
winner, spend.
Exactly. Yeah. Crazy with it. I'll tell you the truth is that the man who bought me the tree, I was supposed to give him an extra £5 for the stand, and I forgot, and he forgot.
Oh.
Oh,
So
fine.
it cost me nothing, the stand. So I thought,
Fair enough.
I don't want it. It's like blood money. I hadn't
Yeah.
paid
Yeah.
for it. I just didn't want it around. You can bet
Yeah.
no good would have come of that stand.
You know it's...
Anyway,
Frank, what about when my mum wouldn't let me and my sister finish with a boyfriend in the 2 weeks after Christmas? Because she said, darling, I need them to get rid of the tree.
that's
Yeah, so my sister, I think, stayed with someone just because we needed the tree
I
got
was
rid
going to
of.
say it was bad luck or something.
No, just because she said we need the help.
What I would
So-
like is you went out with someone called Noel and you had to split with him before the 6th of January.
Absolute
Absolute.
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was actually accused of deceit during that break. And what about this? Of all the things one could lie about in life, I was accused of making up the mouth sounds book where I learnt my...
Who was your accuser?
My cruiser blast.
That is good.
I was accused of there wasn't a book at all, and luckily I had it in my satchel.
It was his rival in socks.
It was Alan Cochrane.
Alan Cochrane.
Yeah.
Cockrell.
Well, Bamboo Cochrane, as we call him now.
He bamboozled you.
I don't want to say the boy who cried wolf, but you have, on occasion, on this show, told little porcupines that have then spun out into extended improvisational porcupines.
I would say that the great defining feature of this show is the raw honesty of it.
Oh, really? Because you looked in the eye
when
and
you
spent a whole link telling us that you'd invented Gap, the shop.
And then you said you were Ian Fleming's...
Name.
Yeah, your mum was a cleaner for Ian Fleming.
Yeah.
Was that right?
A golden eye.
Yeah. So you can see how... there may be a boy who cried, I invented Gap.
Well, we've got
thing happening.
Proper evidence of the existence of this.
Yeah, but I'd say those stories are slightly more far-fetched than someone bought me a book about mouth sounds.
I don't know.
Anyway, I have.
Anyway,
I showed the
delighted
book.
to see it. I think it's a fantastic gift for you.
It is. I'm going to
What do you get the man who has everything?
Penicillin.
A book on mouth sounds.
I got a Manasseh sweatshirt once. Went down really well.
Oh, that did go well, yeah.
Didn't it, Frank?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
Yes,
you had
very
to
nice.
pause there. You forgot about it.
I didn't know. I was thinking.
Re-gift.
I was thinking it was.
So re-gift.
I thought you meant NASA, who was involved in the 6 Days War against Moishe Dayan.
Oh, did you?
I was thinking. I think I've got a T-shirt with him on. But anyway,
Hey,
I don't know. I don't have any Egyptian statesman T-shirts. If anyone's listening.
Right.
okay.
You will accept those.
Oh yeah.
Do send them in.
Oh, we haven't talked about the butcher who got stuck in the deep freeze.
Oh, what a story.
What did he get into, Al?
He got it. He was in a bit of trouble. He was living the sitcom life, wasn't he? He was locked in a walk-in freezer. Fantastic.
Not only was it that, but the pictures of him holding a 3-foot-long black pudding are so British comedy.
Very good.
We should say if they don't know this story. He saved his bacon.
Very good.
As
excellent
Very
work.
good.
It's a good joint effort.
Thank you.
Very good.
Oh, come on.
Oh, God. Whatever I sell, get the chop. No doubt.
We're
done.
We're done. Stop.
With the black pudding. He broke his way out of the deep freeze.
Yeah.
He used the black pudding as a battering ram, essentially.
It says in the article that ironically the escape button had frozen up, so he was in the deep freezer, but there must be something normally that it doesn't freeze, but it had frozen stiff, I guess, and he had to smash it with something. And
lamb was too big.
Lamb was too big. We all know
didn't
that.
offer enough grip, apparently.
No, yeah.
So he went.
Should have left the horns on. I always do that.
Yeah.
Leave the horns on just for safety.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great for carrying it about.
True. Yeah, like two handles in many ways.
Yeah, with my frozen beef, I leave the horns on. I just push it around like a lawnmower.
Yeah.
You lose a bit of meat off the end, rubbed across the gravel.
They did, Frank, they did a lovely bit of local news reporting. They said the black pudding was too shy to comment when approached.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
I think that is because he somewhat... what's the word? Personified? Not personified. He's somewhat personified. He anthropomorphised.
Or is that just for animals?
The black pudding, because he said it saved my life rather than I used it and I saved my own life with a black pudding. I think he's implying that it did something.
That there was some choice involved on the part of the black pudding.
Lay there.
Do you think you could take one that big? Could you take it on as hand luggage, or would that be regarded as something you could potentially hijack a plane with as a weapon?
Well, the 12-inch black pudding.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there would be other problems with it. Not so much the use as a weapon, but I think it's probably contraband.
Yeah.
Contraband.
I don't think you
I love that word, but
I don't think you can take foodstuffs to different countries very easily. I mean, if I know nothing from watching, what's it called? We
don't know the title.
Border Control.
Well, I do know there's border control.
Yeah, my wife watches it sometimes.
Well, I have a nightmare when sending hampers abroad for this reason.
Okay.
Does that sound a bit elitist? Yeah.
Sounds like
I didn't mean to. They're not like expensive hampers.
Sounds like a really gentle nightmare, to be fair.
Yeah, you're right.
So with the 12-inch black pudding, how on earth am I going to secrete it about my person?
Good question.
Well,
Armpit?
8, 12, 15.
No, don't text it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So
Black pudding.
apparently, this Chris McCabe, the butcher of Totnes,
Yeah.
as I believe Chaucer called him,
The Butcher of Totnes sounds like an episode of Murder Case Book, the famous partwork.
he said, he could have died very easily. It was minus 20 in the freezer. He had half an hour in those temperatures to get out, apparently.
And he said he was very lucky because they sell about 2 or 3 each week, and of the large black puddings, and that was the last one.
Right.
So, had that third customer gone there the day before.
It doesn't bear thinking about.
It
Somebody
doesn't,
thought
you're right.
I'd have 2 this week.
Yeah.
So, the big week with black pudding for me.
Fortunately, no one's texted in yet with Oh no, there is someone, but I'm not reading that out.
No,
that
I
was-
did think it was rash. And
Yeah.
when I played in, I'm quite a sporty type. I used to play in a cribbage league
Oh, yeah.
in the West Midlands. Do you know cribbage?
No.
Yes, I do.
It's a card game. You play with a pegboard.
Oh, is it?
15-2, 15-4, 15-6.
Uh-huh.
3's 9, 3's a dozen, and 1 for his knob. Be a tip of class. That'd be a good hand. Anyway, so
Speaking for yourself.
We're still on air. Are we still on air?
Still on air.
Apparently.
Oh, are we?
And we always, after every cribbage game, cheese and onion sandwiches and black pudding. That was every week. And I even talking
Sounds like
about
the
it
worst
now,
night of my life.
I can feel my
How's the black
mouth.
pudding served? Is it as a sandwich or
No, it's
black
just
pudding?
sliced on a plate, and you.
Oh, lovely.
To be honest, I often put it on the sandwich with the cheese and onion.
Good.
Oh,
Excellent.
It was the most. My mouth is physically watering now.
Right.
Talking about. Honestly, I need. You know those tubes you get at the dentist.
Yeah.
I really need one of those. A black pudding tube for when I talk about black pudding.
Yeah.
I do. My mouth. I'm having to swallow my own juices.
Saliva.
What a night that was. So yeah. So it was all.
goodness me.
I'll tell you what. I went to West Bromwich Albion versus Man United over the Christmas period.
Oh, yeah.
And I pulled up onto the car park. I'd got a call from Adrian Childs, my compadre, saying, what bay will you be parking in on the car park? So I told him the number of the bay.
Did he text or call?
He texted.
Okay.
And he was next. He was waiting for me to arrive
Oh.
with a plastic bag. And I said, what is it? And he said, open your boot. So I opened my boot, and it was, I have become obsessed with aubergine.
Oh, yeah.
And he had cooked like a sort of specialist aubergine meal, and he just put it in the boot. We
nice.
closed it. It was a bit dark, it was wintry. Few people looking, what's going on?
Right,
It was
yeah.
honestly like... Did you see Hard Son this week?
No.
Do you not see that about it's a pro with Agnes Dane and
No, I didn't see it.
he didn't see
Didn't.
that. It's about like a bit MI5 are tracking
Oh,
them down.
okay.
It's
Okay,
like, it was
is it
just
on
like
Channel
that.
5? No.
It's BBC One.
Okay. No, you watch a lot of Channel 5.
Actually, my family all laughed at me for liking it.
Oh.
You do like
communal.
some funny things, Frank.
I thought it was
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Try
But
it.
is it a bit kind of gritty? So like body
Oh, it's
parts
gritty.
and boots and stuff like that?
Gritty.
Well, don't you watch
Is that the word?
McMafia, like one of the ones that everyone's talking about?
I don't like the
Yeah.
sound
Doesn't
of
like the
McMafia.
sound of the stuff
It's
everyone's
great.
talking about.
Mafia sounds like...
McMafia's great.
is it about the Scottish Mafia?
No, there
Yes,
isn't
the
a
ice cream
Scottish
wars.
Mafia.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
There's an everything Mafia, isn't
Yeah,
there?
absolutely.
It's about the Russian Mafia.
And they're called the McMafia.
Yes, because
Yeah.
the idea is that they're based on the principle of McDonald's, which is they work all around the world.
Oh,
They don't change their formula. Do you
I
see?
Oh, okay. Like a
see.
franchise. They're rolling it out like
100.
franchisees.
And somebody has
Got
to
you.
clean up every 15 minutes.
That's right, yeah.
That's what the deal is apparently at
And
McDonald's.
there's a star system for promising members of staff in Mafia.
And the interesting about the Russian Mafia is in the 90s they used to give away a Little Mermaid toy.
What about the Hamburglar?
What is that?
Hamburglar was one of the toys they gave away. It's one of my
I don't
favourites.
remember.
Yeah.
The Hamburglar, based on a burglar.
It was a great pun. I don't know how, but he had. I think he had the black and white stripy.
He did?
top.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hamburglar.
So they gave away free criminals at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Wow, and what do you get now? The free moped crime character.
I don't know why they're depicting their popular criminals now.
It's
Probably a guy at a computer, isn't it?
I don't remember but that's unbelievable.
Hamburglar. Yeah, he was one of the most popular characters. Everyone wanted a Hamburglar.
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen Frank as shocked as last year when we had to tell him that BHS had gone the way of the dodo.
I'll have a filet o thief, please.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've received a text from 333, Frank, that is
It's only half bad.
is possibly important for you to take on board. The Bell and Bear on Gorsty Hill in Blackheath serve cheese, onion and black pudding cobs, which are apparently the best from Andy and Hales Owen. I don't know, is that Blackheath in the Midlands? Or?
Yes, it's very in the very depths of the Black Country.
Yeah.
Oh,
But good info
Try
for you,
off.
since even the memory of them make your mouth water. So,
Yes.
good to know.
well, you were given I suppose in case there's any vegetarians in the cribbage league, the black pudding was served separately on those occasions.
Would it just have been put on a tray, like a load
It's
of
on a
discs
plate,
of
on a plate,
fried-
like a
On a
load of
platter.
discs, yeah.
like biscuits?
Like when you see
Is there skin
coins.
on it that-
When you see coins in a pirate film,
Yes.
it's like that.
Very good. My
Yeah.
daughter likes black pudding, and occasionally, if we're eating
Really?
out, she will have ordered she'll have like a croissant with jam, and then somebody will have black pudding on a breakfast, and she'll say, "Oh, can I have that?" And of course, children, they don't care about like what's first and what's seconds, like the order of meals.
Well, I
So
don't
she
care
will
either.
She will eat black pudding in a jammy croissant, which not many
Wow.
adults are doing that, are they?
I'll tell you what you could do for her, though, for a special occasion, is buy some chocolate coins, take the chocolate out, put black pudding
Oh,
in,
that would be
put
good.
the paper back on.
What
Oh,
a
that would be
lovely
very good.
disappointment that would be.
It's a bit labour intensive for me. I'm less, engaged as a parent, but it
Imagine
sounds good.
Putting that
Does
in
sound
someone's
good.
Christmas stockings. That'd be a nice surprise.
If I wouldn't
if they'd
put.
be naughty.
I wouldn't put my black pudding in anyone's stockings.
Oh,
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 heavens.
I'm. Yes. So that's that. And thank you so much for listening to us this week. Mucho appreciatum, as they say at the Vatican. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.